my first NFT project and how I work, my each and every process, like what kind of alpha I was using, how I use the render process using Keyshot, and in a very small brief. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so this is my final product, so which I was working for, and this is the product which I have created for the NFT, which is technically my first artwork for someone else, not for me. So the topic was the Jupiter, so I created a head, a human head, which is a Jupiter, and as we can see, the Jupiter is related to the cold weather, according to description. So I created a frozen glass, kind of ice cube, and put that planet into the ice cube. So using ZBrush, using few alphas in ZBrush, I will show you later how I use the alpha to create this frozen glass and this crack kind of effect. And alpha on the Jupiter planet, which you can see on the head area, and I took a body base, which is also created in ZBrush, and a few assets just to hold this box I have to show. And I use the gold and chrome look for the final output. So let's move to the software. So for this final render, I use this software Keyshot for material and all, because definitely this is much more convenient than the rest of software. So I tried this. Okay, for the Jupiter I was trying for the black, the chrome. So this is the, kind of match the whole entire project. So after that, okay, before this project, when I was using alpha on the Jupiter, then I have a test file on lighting, like how it looked like after the light and the shadow and ambience and all. So I just put a HDRI, the background area, and take a test render to show the how it will work after lighting. So just these two images with the different HDRI. Okay, this is my displacement map, and this is my texture map for the color. So after that, my output was this, but as I said, this was just the test render. So after this, okay, so now we are going to the Maya, where I am going to show you what my model looked like after the sculpting and all. See, I kept my file in bounding box, so this will be very convenient to open. See, this is the body of the model, and this is the asset which I use for the build, and this is the high detail version of sculpting which I have done in ZBrush, as you can see. Or if I hide this model, now you can see the Jupiter element. See, this is one subdiv low, and the higher version of model I will show you in ZBrush. So this is the one main alpha, and this one is the second, and this one is the third. So I use mainly 3 or 4 alpha to create entire this structure. So after this, I have to export this all thing in FVX format, or I personally use FVX. You can use OBJ also for the Keyshot. So now I'm going for the ZBrush. So this is my Jupiter, as you can see, and if I show you the geometry, I use the 7th level of subdivision. If I go to 1, I have just this. Okay, so I use the few alpha to create this entire structure, and I will show you the alpha also. Import doc moment. Okay, this is my alpha library where I kept the lots of alpha. So see the, yeah, this alpha and the one more, here we go, open. Okay, see this one and this one, these two alpha I used to create this entire structure, and for the this one and this one. Okay, and after this I am going to show you the cube area, the frozen glass one. Okay, for that, again, where, okay, cube detail, open. So this is the cube which I have created in ZBrush, which is very minimalistic, as you can see. It's very time consuming, definitely, not in a detail. And on this object again I went to the subdivision level 7. Okay, and for this, as you can see the same thing. Now you have to play with the intensity, amount of intensity, and you will get the same result. Okay, so this is how I create the Jupiter object and this frozen glass geometry, and this is look like this in this software, but this object will look definitely very different when you apply the glass material. Okay, now move to the Keyshot where I am going to show you the final output after applying the all material. So this is it. As you can see, this is my entire model. See, this is my entire model, and I show you the glass one by applying different material on this object. See, this one is the Jupiter, and this one is the frozen glass, and because of glass material it look very realistic, or you can say the very frozen kind of detail. Now I'm going to show you the different material on this object. For that, library, and just for the example, see the detail which I have shown you in ZBrush. See, this crack, the fragment part, which is giving you very, the realistic detail when I put the glass material, as you can see. Now definitely I use 4K or 8K render for the final output, and as you can see, this is the very fastest way for me to create the NFT, and definitely this took the whole entire project took 3 days, maximum 3 to 4 days to finish this entire project. So I'm showing you the breakthrough, like what kind of model I use and what kind of software I use, what kind of alpha I use, and how I render. So my setting was render, and this thing which is by default setting of 2K or 4K, so I use this setting. So after this I use the turntable for the few sequence, and then I get to the render. So this is my project for the NFT which I have done for the different one, not for me, for the another one. So again I'm showing my final output. So I hope you like my project. So thank you.